What happens when a group of paranormal investigators start a conversation? You get Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. Tales of the dead, the bizarre, and all things supernatural. Join us now as we get into Deja Vu. Did you or did you not? Hi, and welcome back to Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. I'm Erin.
I'm Lydia.
I'm Deborah.
And today, I feel like we've done this before.
Maybe a time or two.
It does feel that way.
Today, we are talking all about Deja Vu. So, Deborah, it's your week this week.
Deja Vu.
I feel like we've done it before. What you got for us?
Well, you know what deja vu means?
I don't know what it means, but I know what it is.
It is French for already seen.
Ooh. Je suis désolé.
And we actually do not pronounce it correctly. We say deja vu. It's deja
Deja.
vu.
Deja vu.
Deja vu.
I'm learning a lot recently about how many words we pronounce wrong.
Girl, we chop them all to
Yeah.
pieces, especially down here in the South. We create our own. We'll take 3 or 4 words and make one. Boom.
Yeah, it's the American in us.
Isn't it? So, have you ever had the sense that you've done something or gone through a new situation before? Does it seem like you know what's going to happen next?
It's a weird feeling.
It is.
I've definitely had it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That feeling is often described as deja vu. The saying comes from the French, meaning already seen. Some people think that deja vu is a sign of a potential psychic phenomenon.
I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
There may be other causes for your deja vu experiences. And this was a little frightening when I started learning
Oh, jeez.
some of this stuff. My husband may agree with quite a bit of it.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. I fell down a little bit of a rabbit hole today.
So, dear old Wikipedia, it says that deja vu is for the phenomenon of feeling as though one has lived through the present situation before. It is an illusion of memory whereby, despite a strong sense of recollection, time, place, and context of the previous experience are uncertain or impossible. Approximately 2/3 of surveyed populations report experiencing deja vu at least one time in their lives.
Yeah.
One time?
I've had
2
it
times?
multiple times.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a constant thing with me.
Yeah. Yeah. The phenomenon manifests occasionally as a symptom of pre-seizure auras.
See, now that's interesting because when I was younger, I had epilepsy.
Oh, yeah, I remember you saying
Yeah.
this.
I fell and basically cracked my skull open, and because it was a head injury, I didn't have like grand mal seizures, which is the ones where you shake. I had just the ones where like I would zone, like literally I could be talking.
Blackout.
Yeah, I could be talking and all of a sudden, and I would just zone out for 20 or 30 seconds. But I remember coming, and thank goodness I am outgrown it. Like it's been 15 plus years since I've had to take medicine and all that. But I would have coming out of it, I wouldn't really know. It would take a while to come out. Like I wouldn't know like what was going on for a little bit. But then once I did, I was able to like get right back into it. But I never remember going into it feeling like I had this conversation or done this. Like
Right.
I never remember having a feeling of
Mhm.
deja vu. So that's very interesting to me.
So you feel then more of your deja vu experiences were after that time period?
Yeah. Well, like there would be times like as a kid where I would drive by someplace and feel like I had been there before.
It's very familiar.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like, and I remember this vividly. And I dreamed of a place. I remember seeing it in my dream. It was this playground, and it was this very distinct playground. Several years later, we had gone on a road trip, and at the time, obviously, I had forgotten about it, but we drove past that same playground.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in a whole nother state, a whole nother area, like that I had never been to before. And we drove past that playground, and the whole time, like going up to it and going past it, I'm like, I know where we are. I've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
So it was weird. But I've had a lot more deja vu in my adult life
Okay.
than during my seizure life.
Some other researchers have associated chronic or frequent pathological deja vu with neurological or psychiatric illness.
Now, I said that I've had a lot, and I see the neurologist for all the migraines.
I used to see a neurologist.
Mm-hmm. I used to, but I don't see one anymore. Thank God. I've not had to in the last 20 years.
Yeah. I'm jealous.
Experiencing deja vu has been correlated with higher socioeconomic status.
So now that I find interesting because, so one hand it's like mental illness, but only if you're rich with mental illness.
Yeah. That was a weird one. Better educational attainment.
Really?
That's what it says.
Mm-hmm.
So those of us that are not on the tax bracket, we shouldn't be having deja vu.
Well, no, not necessarily. Lower ages is also included in there. So I'm thinking, the younger you are, the more common it's supposed to be. But that wasn't my experience.
No, I've had it way more in my adult life than anything.
Also experiencing is people who travel often, frequently watch films. There's our downfall. Or frequently remember their dreams are also more likely to experience deja vu than others.
Okay. I can see that. I can see where the dreams would fall into that. Because I have a lot of weird dreams, and I tend to remember a lot of them.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day when we were leaving.
Yeah, it was weird.
I had a dream about Milo, and then I went to go tell my husband. I was like, oh man, I remembered it this morning, and now I can't remember it. And then like 2 days later, I was outside with Milo, and the dream came back. And I've never had a dream come back like
You're like,
days
oh my
later
God,
before.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's just because I love Milo so much. The bear was trying to get him.
Oh no.
What percentage of people do you think experience deja vu?
Well, I saw that, but there was another number that I saw.
And there's a number I saw also. So
I
curious
saw
if they all match.
I saw that it was 97% that believe that they have experienced deja vu in some form.
What did you find, Lenny?
I actually saw two numbers, 97 and 94% on two different sites. So, I mean, it's definitely up there.
It's in the ballpark.
Yeah. Well, what I found is around 60 to 70% of people in good health
And then there's the other
experience
20%.
some form of deja vu during their lifetime. A familiar sight or sound can trigger the feeling.
What about smells?
See, that's the biggest thing for me is smells.
Yeah.
Smells will trigger all sorts of things.
Yep.
And one smell more so than any other. It's just, it's weird. It's weird.
What does that smell?
I know y'all gonna think I'm crazy. But do you remember when you were little and you got a brand new baby doll.
Oh, that plastic.
That smell of that baby doll.
Yeah.
That's what
Sometimes
gets
they
me.
got a little bit of powder on them.
Kinda, sorta.
Yeah.
That is what gets me.
So you'll have this phantom smells, and then you're like, I've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
I get smells. It's roses. That's why I like the rose reviews.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get like phantom smells every once in a while, but it's not anything that like it doesn't mean anything to me, and I can't say that I necessarily have feelings of deja vu when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know how when like the original light brights,
Mm-hmm.
how the little plastic things smell? That's what gets me.
I don't know that I know what they smell like.
I'll get like a random whiff, and it's like for me it smells like plastic, but it smells like something else mixed in there.
Well,
Like
that's very interesting that you both have plastic.
Yeah, maybe I'm dying. Who knows?
Chemicals the girls put in it. Don't use plastic. But they won't give us a plastic bag at the grocery store to put the plastic milk jug in, the plastic orange juice
The
jug,
Martin Food Line does.
the plastic egg cartons. Well, you got to start somewhere, I guess.
Back before, and this isn't deja vu, this is just an interesting spirit combo. But my pop, he had this very distinct smell about him. It was like a mixture. He was a tinkerer. So he went out in the yard and he would piddle with, that's a southern word for y'all watching and listening. It's piddle. He would go out there and he would piddle around his workshop. He would build stuff. He would work on small engines. He would, all of that stuff. Well, he had this very distinct smell about him, and it was a mixture of gas and oil. Mm-hmm. And the pomade that he would use.
I was going to say Old Spice and oil.
Yeah, it wasn't Old Spice. It wasn't Old Spice. It was a specific, I don't even know what brand it was, but it was
my grandpa used to wear Brute.
His pomade. Well, after he passed, I would get random like phantom smells. Like you can't replicate that smell.
No.
And so I would get phantom smells of him. And as quick as they would come, they would dissipate. Well, then, and I would smell it randomly throughout, the time of him passing and the several years before my great grandmother passed. Mm-hmm. Well, once I got it, probably the last time I got it was probably about 4 or 5 months before she passed. And once she passed, I hadn't gotten it since.
See, because I keep getting whiffs of my brother, mm-hmm. and he's been gone since 1998.
Right.
But I keep getting that whiff of his cologne.
Right.
I take that as a visit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and it was interesting when, like, after my great grandmother passed, and I didn't smell it mm-hmm. anymore. It just tells me that they were together again.
Yeah. He kept coming back checking on her.
Yeah. And he just made a pit stop.
Yeah.
He's like, "What's that?" Sorry, I didn't mean to deviate.
No, you're good. You're
deja
vu. We like it though. You may walk into a room in a building you've never visited, yet feel like you know it intimately. I've had that happen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Get up and go to the restroom, and you know right where it's at.
Right.
You've never been there. How would you know?
I don't have places as much as like specific events.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I would say that as well. Like I'm not so much places, but like certain events. I can't even remember the last time I even had deja vu. It was a couple months ago though. I do know that. I was having a conversation with somebody and I'm like, well shit, didn't we talk about this already? And I think mm-hmm. I actually asked them if we had talked about it, but it's typically for me it's events or conversations.
Conversations is my main one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird.
So most feelings of deja vu disappear quickly. which can make it hard for you to recall specific details about the experience.
Yep, like waking up and you're trying to remember your dream.
And you can't for the life of you. Deja vu happens most often to people between 15 and 25 years of age. I totally disagree. I totally disagree. It says we tend to experience the feeling less as we age. It may be not as frequent, but for me, it's stronger.
I think.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you kind of put forth a bracket before, like the people who have this, this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that age bracket pertains to those people. I kind of feel like deja vu may also be like some people see ghosts, some don't. Some
Right.
people are just more predisposed to be sensitive
Mhm.
to
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
paranormal type of things. So those people could probably do it, you know.
Well, let me
Forever.
ask you this then. Do you think everybody, do you think there are the select people who do see ghosts, who do see spirit? Do you think that they were born with that ability, or do you think like everybody's born with that ability, but it depends on how they?
Much like spirits, I think everybody's born with the ability and everybody can open it back up, but you know, it's part that you're told it's not a real thing. Like, you know, you close it up off over time. So
Yeah.
same thing like somebody who says they've never experienced deja vu, I just don't think they're open to it.
Yeah, that's true. Because I had to reopen myself. I had to reopen myself, and since we started doing our investigating, it's only gotten stronger.
Right. And a lot of that happens with, you know, all of my Reiki trainings and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Faux show.
If you travel a lot or regularly remember your dreams, you may be more likely to experience deja vu than others. Someone who is tired or stressed may be prone to deja vu feelings as well. That might be why
I wonder why.
it's stronger for me. I'm more stressed.
I would think if you're tired and stuff, I would think it'd be the opposite, that you'd be
I
less
would
likely
too.
because you're not kind of there. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'll mentally check out.
Yeah.
Well, see, for me, like, I notice if I'm more tired, then if I go, like, an investigation or something, and I'm tired when I get there, I'll notice that I tend to see more as far as, like, shadows and hear things.
Yeah, but then do you trust that you're not just overtired?
I don't know. I was pretty tired at undisclosed location.
I think it could be simply because your brain's too tired to fight against it.
Right. Because
the brain's so amazing. Like, have you ever noticed too, like, there's some nights I go to sleep and I tell myself, like, you're going to remember your dream in the morning, and I do.
I tell myself I'm going to remember my dreams, and I wake up and I'm like, damn, I didn't even have a dream.
And I don't do it a lot because I don't remember to, but that does seem to work for me.
Yeah. No, if I tell myself to remember a dream, the complete opposite's going to happen. My brain's like,
Well, you told me that, so I ain't doing nothing.
My brain's like,
That's how my daughter operates.
Your brain is a disobedient
child.
organ.
Gianna. Your brain is Gianna.
It is. It's like, I am not remembering that.
So this says that most people have more experiences on the evenings or the weekends.
More relaxed.
Well, more tired.
I mean, that makes sense. We have more experiences on the weekends.
This is true. This is true.
We're party animals on the weekends.
Except for me, I go to bed at
Define
9.
party animals.
In our nightgown, ready for bed.
By 7:30 usually.
Unless it's an investigation night.
Yes. Yeah.
And Deborah will just find a spot in the investigation.
I sure will. When I'm done, I'm done. I will lay down on the floor. I'll prop up in the corner. It don't matter to me. I can't do it. I can't do it.
You
I'll
look up,
check out.
where did Deborah go? Oh, there she is sleeping. And we would just continue on with our investigation.
Wake me up when it's time to go.
And we did.
Yeah. So memory gets stored in the temporal lobe of the brain. This part of the brain helps us recognize familiar experiences. While science has yet to prove that everyday deja vu experiences are a result of memories stored in the temporal area, some researchers believe there is a connection between the two. Maybe.
Yeah, I would think so. Is dreams also, where are dreams stored at?
I don't know.
Cortex.
No, it don't store them. It's responsible for the content of your dreams.
So then, because it's a memory at that point, it would probably
would store over here in the temporal lobe.
So that would make sense how they are connected a little bit. Very interesting.
One
Are they
experience.
connected, or are they the same thing? Is deja vu just a dream that you've had?
Oh.
I don't think so.
Rabbit hole today, right?
I don't think so. I think it's part of the past life.
You think dreams are part of past life?
I do.
God, but I had a screwed up past
Only
life.
dreams, or do you think deja vu is part of past lives?
I think both of them.
So then deja vu could still be your past dreams.
Well, yeah, maybe.
But just living them in the waking.
Quit getting technical.
But then why? So there's got to be a line there that separates then too, because there's no way, like some of the nightmares that like are not even nightmares, some of the dreams that I've had, there's no way that there would even be possible.
Well, I'm not saying all dreams.
Not all.
Just some are connected to past lives and deja vu. Interesting. I can feel myself going in a rabbit hole though, just thinking about it.
Yeah. Hopping right on along in there.
Wait till you hear some of the articles I got over here.
Oh boy. Let's see here. One experiment done to test the theory that links deja vu to memory involved creating virtual reality scenarios based on the world of the video game Sims. Many who participated in the project ended up having various deja vu experiences tied to scenes resembling similar ones viewed earlier. Some people often feel that deja vu may help them predict a future event, but the experiment found that individuals didn't become more likely to guess the correct path or come up with more accurate answers while playing out the virtual reality scenarios. More research is being done to try to figure out exactly why people have feelings of deja vu.
Because we live in a simulation.
Well, I mean, so they want to blame stuff on mental illness and this, that, and the other thing. But for those who believe that it's, something to do with the past lives, that would never work regardless, because it's not the same.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's another topic, is the fact that we live in a simulation, people.
Let me know if we're going to do that. I can watch The Matrix first.
Where government experiments gone bad.
We're an alien prison planet. Have you heard that one?
No.
Episode number 15. Oh gosh. We are having fun with this one here.
Keep it coming, girl. Keep it coming.
What else you got?
That's all I've got on it. I want you to tell me some of the stuff.
So I had to start looking, because as soon as I was like, mental illness, migraine ors, like what? Why are you trying to blame this on people being sick?
They're always got to blame somebody on something and need an excuse. They can't just take it for as a universal or spiritual side of things.
So on that note, I started going down the rabbit hole with past lives, reincarnation, and the Akashic records.
Oh.
And the what?
So
I didn't hear what she said.
Akashic records?
I still didn't hear you.
Acoustic.
Oh, okay.
That's how you say it, right?
Again,
Acoustic. It's probably like acoustic.
something wrong like deja vu. Basically, that's just the records of all your past lives that you can tap into. So what if deja vu is really, you're going to sleep, your mind is at ease, and then you can tap into those records. I mean, there's plenty of things online that are teaching you. So the first thing I found, and again, this will all be in the source material, I'm going to cut into kind of a mid-paragraph. So it says, not alluding that we are in fact in a simulation,
Ooh.
but more along the lines that deja vu is connected to our past lives somehow, bringing me to the theory of cellular memory, where the brain is not the only place that is able to store memories, that the physical body can also recall experiences, that holds many influences and drives certain wants, needs, and desires out of life. Many believe that cellular memory stores important information about our past lives, giving us hints about what decisions we made in our past lives that we should not make in this life.
Huh. So when we get the feeling of deja vu, it's kind of like our brain saying, "Hey, you have done this before, but don't make the same decision."
Yeah. I mean, do you think, if we do live parallel lives, do you think you do the same thing and do you make the same decisions? Does the course change in every different?
If we live parallels or if we have past lives?
In parallel, because this one actually says simulation. In fact, we're in a simulation.
So if we're living parallels, I personally believe that it's not necessarily like, say there are two parallels, my present self and then my parallel self. I don't necessarily think we're traveling along the same lines. Like my parallel self, I think it's opposites. So like my parallel self is rich, living somewhere and driving a nice car. I mean, I have a nice car.
Out on the yacht this weekend.
Yeah, going out on the med. And whereas myself right now is living in my tax bracket. So I think they're opposites. I think that parallels are opposites. But if we are in a simulation, what if the deja vu moment is our respawn point? Like, what if we died halfway through this level and we respawned at this moment? And that's our simulation person resetting itself. We gotta have a whole episode on simulation.
I ain't lying, because you just you roll right on over to the left field.
Yeah.
Like, this is really an easy topic to just fall down. Like, I was like, wait, no, now I gotta Google this. Hold on, wait, no. What about this? What if it could be this?
And it is so hard to keep your train of thought focused on what you're doing here without veering off onto some other tangent.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting, but it's such a deep topic that can go so many different ways. And yeah, no, I kind of am for the simulation theory behind it. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Let us know what you think. Those of you listening or watching on the YouTubes. We're just a rambling bunch today.
What else you got?
This is in real-time rabbit hole, by the way.
I don't know where to touch it. This whole entire article is just like so fascinating. Like, I was trying to cut out pieces of it, but it's really kind of interesting. So, connections between reincarnation and deja vu. So let's talk a little reincarnation here. There are specific and not uncommon cases in which past memories and recollections happen. Hans Holzer, which I love him, in his book Life Beyond Life, describes that many of these experiences can be explained as precognition.
I can see that. However,
can you imagine?
Can take a drink. I have not said that once this episode.
You haven't.
But if it was a precog, type dream, what if it's like, what is that movie? Minority Report? Where is it? Minority Report? Yes. What if it's a precog dream, but it's up for interpretation? So, like, just like everything else, humans have free will. So, if you have a dream and it's precog, then obviously we don't know that it's a precog dream. But what if, like, our souls or our minds or whatever decides, our soul knows it's precog, right?
Mm.
But our waking lives don't know. So what if our soul's like, that was a premonition dream, so we're gonna, or a precognition dream, so we're gonna veer off this way because we don't want this happening. Well. Well. It's a rabbit hole. And you know, the weird thing is, I have noticed every single one of our podcast episodes have been unintentionally, but have been connected.
In one way or another.
In one way or another,
Mm-hmm.
every episode has been connected. This is our precog dream.
Next week will be a spawn.
Next week will be a what?
A spawn.
A respawn? Oh, God. What you got for us?
So then this is just kind of going into more of the Akashic. So it says, what is the Akash? The actual word Akash is derived from the Sanskrit word for Akasha, which means sky or ether. It represents knowledge, the sum of a soul's every emotion, thought, and experience throughout time. This knowledge is not consciously present, but all the experiences where you have picked up wisdom are with you right now, hidden in your Akash. Where is the Akash? When a soul reincarnates, the sum of all its human experiences pass through and are transferred into the multidimensional areas within the DNA. Every experience of every life lived by a soul is stored in the cells. And through the process called cellular memory, a human holds all the information of every life expression lived by that person. The DNA communicates an emotional concept, which is why we don't remember specific events, but carry emotional memories with us that translate into phobias, fears, or patterns. To me, this makes the most sense.
Yeah. I was thinking about something after we did our Past Lives podcast, Past Lives episode. I have a very, talking about fears, I have a very, like, odd fear of, I have a fear of being alone. But
I love being alone.
I like being alone in the comfort of my own home, knowing that somebody is coming home to me.
No, I like being alone anywhere. I go out to eat by myself, sit at the bar by
I
myself,
hate
go to
being
movies
alone.
by myself. I don't care.
Don't bother me.
I like being at home alone by myself, but, like, out in public, I hate being alone. One of my biggest fears, and I'm going to get very personal, one of my biggest fears is dying alone and, like, being forgotten. And I think, and I was thinking about this after the Past Life episode, that's how the Civil War soldier died.
Mm-hmm.
Alone.
Right.
Yes, he was surrounded by bodies, but he was alone. And obviously he was forgotten. And that's one of my biggest fears. And then I have a weird fear of of hurricanes and tornadoes, bad weather. But I have terrible weather anxiety.
Girl, I love all the things you hate. I love a good old storm.
I do
don't
too.
like driving in it, but if I'm home, put on a scary
Sleeping,
movie.
what?
Yeah, no, I'm a pacer. I get up and I pace.
Mm-mm.
I pace.
I think it's like almost soothing. I have a lot of memories of watching storms when I was little, and that's probably again why I like them. Like I remember my dad taking me fishing, and like the storm would start coming in, we'd hurry
You
up and
could
go
see them
home,
rolling in.
and I would stand out in the like a little area, like a little outdoor. I don't even know what it was, and I would just stand out there and watch the storm come in.
I loved it when we were at my mama's and a storm would be coming in, and she would open, her bedroom was on the front of the house. And she had a window on this wall and a window on this wall. Well, this wall was the front porch.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have screens on the windows back then.
Right.
But she would raise the windows for that cool air
Mm-hmm.
to circulate through the house. She'd say we're letting the house breathe.
Mm-hmm.
What she'd tell us. But when you were laying in the bed, I would always turn and lay with my head at the foot because the rain wouldn't splash in on me at that window where the front porch was.
Hmm.
But when we got ready to go to sleep, I'd turn around the other way, and before she would go to sleep, she would shut that window, but I always fell asleep first because she would sit there as what she would call, it's a southern word, people.
Mm.
She would nuss me.
Nuss?
Nuss.
Okay.
Like when you hold a baby, you're nursing a baby.
Kind of like
She'd
nursing?
cuddle you.
Yeah, she would cut. It would,
Mhm.
cut. She would cuddle me, and she would twirl my hair.
Oh, my mom used to twirl my hair.
And that would just, see, rolling in the back of your head. And that would knock me out. But every time a big storm is coming now, that's my first thought. I go right back there.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. We had a tin roof put on our house just so
You can hear the rain hitting it.
we could hear the rain hitting it. And I love to get me a sheet and go out there on the front porch and crawl up in the swing. I'll lay in that swing and just swing myself right to sleep. Don't matter to me.
See, I'm a pacer. I can't. I get anxious. Like if I get in my room and turn the TV on, I'm good. But the second that wind starts picking up and the rain starts hammering down on the windows, I'm like, all right, let's.
What you mean turn the TV on? When it's storming outside?
I go in there and turn the TV on.
And it lightning?
Uh-huh.
No, girl, you're supposed to cut everything off and lay down and let the Lord do his work.
I don't know. I watch a scary movie. As soon as the lightning starts up, I'm like, oh,
My mom always made us lay down
The
and
only
take a
thing,
nap.
no, I never heard that. The only thing I always heard was you can't take a shower if it's lightning. That's what they used to tell us.
Yeah, he'll go take a shower anytime it's lightning.
In a lightning storm?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
He's like,
It's supposed to be in water.
Mm-mm.
I've done it a couple times, and I'm like, okay, real quick. Okay, I'm good.
I'd have earrings in, and my mama would tell me, you go get them earbuds out before it starts lightning. She would unplug the stove, the refrigerator, the TV. She would go through the house, unplugging everything. Everything is cut off. You lay down, take a nap, let the Lord do his work. When you wake up, it'll be over with. And most of the time, the storm was gone when we wake up.
That would not fly with kids nowadays. They can't put down stuff.
It did at my house.
Store.
No,
Well, you guys weren't playing on cell phones and everything else back then.
No, I'm
either.
talking about my kids.
Oh, your kids?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, no, that would not fly. A couple power outages out, I was prepared. I had stuff all downloaded for them to watch.
Oh God! Trust me. When a hurricane rolls through here, I am a ball of nervous energy. I get up, and my husband will sleep through anything.
Well, we didn't know what to expect to eat, and I was outside taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my husband will sleep through anything, but me, don't let a hurricane come at night because I will not sleep.
See, I don't know. It's the tornadoes
And that's when most
that I
of
worry
them
about
hit.
at night.
Yeah, I will not sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and I might go to sleep probably about 7:00 in the morning. It might be a couple hours, if that. But I plan on me being up all night if a hurricane hits because I will not.
The hurricanes don't scare me because I have enough warning to leave if I think I need to.
Yeah, I
The
could not live in
tornadoes that come
Tornado
out of
Alley.
nowhere,
No.
Tornadoes freak me out. I mean, they come
like
from
that
out
one
nowhere.
that hit Chalut maybe a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary.
So, you got anything else for us?
Nope, that's it. Once I got to the Akashic Record stuff, I was like, "That's it. That's where I'm going.
This is it. This is what I'm believing.
This is it."
So we did take a brief pause, but what we were discussing further, might as well just name this conversation, name this episode Past Lives 2.0,
Yeah.
because it's turned into a past life conversation again. But we were kind of discussing our past lives, and as previously mentioned, like some of my fears and stuff like that. And where was I going with this? I don't remember. Squirrel. Sorry, I got sidetracked. But past lives and deja vu. Yes, that's where we were. I was telling these ladies that I had a feeling of deja vu once. I had done, if you had listened to or watched our past life episode, I had done 3 regressions on the YouTube University. Well, one of which, the last one, I wasn't 100% confident in. That's why I didn't mention it on that episode, but it's kind of making sense now. I had a vision that I'm pretty sure I was a school teacher in like a rural town. And I could see the schoolhouse, and I could see the town sign in my regression vision. And, but before I did that, I had this lady. I was living with my parents, and I had this lady show up one night, and while I was sleeping, I woke up. She was standing at the foot of my bed, and she had a very high collar, high bun, and I mean, she looked like a school teacher from back in the day. I just got a really weird feeling that that was me from a past life. Like I felt like I was having deja vu. So it's weird that it's all connected. This episode, man, is just a cluster mess of everything. So how about I share some deja vu experiences that I found with you guys. And by the way, just real quick, thank you to everybody that's been listening and interacting with the podcast. We appreciate you. Shout out to Michelle for commenting on last week's episode.
Oh, hey, Michelle.
So thank you for listening, for commenting, for following along. We appreciate it. Now, let's get into some moments of deja vu. Do y'all remember do you remember any deja vu moments?
I can't say that I do. They're one of those things that's like the dream, you're just kind of like, oh, what the?
It happens and then it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only one that really stands out to me is like seeing this, dreaming about this playground and then seeing it in real life. All right, let's get into some experiences. So all of these experiences come from Reddit. And yeah, let's just get into them. This is from user 291099001.
Now I want to sing Clutch.
Huh?
How do you say that?
Part of a Clutch song. Never mind.
29.
Pronounce that name. Yeah, pronounce that name.
291099101. When I was about 9, I broke a dish and was sent to my room. I went up and felt strange, like I was in an unfamiliar place. I don't know why. I got the chills and very cautiously nudged the door open to look inside. My room was all different. There was different furniture. I felt an icy stab in my chest when I noticed a silhouette of a man against my brightly lit window. I managed to let out a sorry before bolting down the stairs, screaming for my parents. They went up and just shook their heads. Sure enough, the room was normal. I just forgot about this as I got older. Years later, our longtime neighbor sold their place and a new family had just moved in. They had a daughter about my age, 17 at the time. I noticed her right away because she was gifted and didn't seem shy about giving her choice of attire. One day I was upstairs in my room and noticed her in the backyard. I couldn't help but stare, especially because the downward angle gave me an even better peek. Well, so I stood up there like a creepy teenager staring at this girl. Then I heard a tiny sorry behind me and the door shutting. This scared me to death until I remembered what happened when I was 9. I ran downstairs to my parents just as before. I asked them if they remembered the time I broke a dish and they sent me upstairs. I asked if they remembered when I said my room looked different. They said I was always keen to make up BS stories to get out of trouble, but they did recall me saying that there was a man in my room looking out the window. What do y'all think about that one?
It doesn't sound like deja vu to me.
Mm-mm.
Sounds like a slip in time. What if deja vu is just a slip in time? What if deja vu is where your multiple, as many as there are, your parallels are kind of at that moment doing the exact same thing and kind of connecting that way?
Nope, I still like Akashic record. Stuff from the past, stuff from the older time frames, not moving into the future. I think he's got some other kind of experience going on.
What could that be, though? That's weird. Here's another one. This is from Deleted. I guess the account's been deleted. When I was in 6th grade, 1993, the state sent us shots to prevent meningitis. It was a big deal back then, so I guess receiving the shots in the classroom wasn't that weird. Did y'all have to get shots at school?
No, never.
I had to get a shot at school.
I would have been a sophomore in high school in 1993.
I was done in high school.
I had to get shots in school.
You did not have to get shots in school.
We had to get our... Oh, I don't even know what shot it was. But we had to get 2 courses of them.
Meningitis shots comes in multiple courses.
Yeah. Because I remember having to go to the library and get them. It was a government microchip.
I don't remember getting any vaccines outside of when I was like little.
Yeah, no.
The only thing I remember us doing was the school nurses would come and check everybody for head lice once a year. And the local dentist would come and check our teeth. And we had to chew those little red pills that would turn your teeth to different colors. And the eye doctor and the ear doctors would come.
I remember being checked for scoliosis in the gym too.
Yes.
See, we didn't have any of that. They said, come down to the library, line up, and take a shot.
How can they? I'm hoping they sent some kind of form home.
Well, now they did, because Chad is just a smidgen older than Aaron. And they sent a form home with them about the meningitis shots.
Was it asking permission or telling you?
It was asking permission.
Yeah. I don't know what that noise is. We keep hearing a weird...
It's
your computer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are you charging?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. She's charging. No, I had to get like 2 or 3 shots. One each year. No, I think it was all 6th grade. But anyway, back to the story. It was a big deal back then, so I guess receiving the shots in the classroom wasn't that weird. Some minutes after receiving the shot, my classmate and I started to feel dizzy and feverish, so the teacher allowed us to take a nap right there in the classroom. I had a strange dream in which I could see flashes of my own life from that point to my last days. Me ending primary school, me starting secondary school, me losing a year due to my poor performance, me ending secondary school, me taking my first job, me doing random shit with friends, me having a big argument with my best friend, meeting my current significant other, and finally settling down, etc. Well, every flash in that dream occurred to me so far.
That's all the future again.
Yeah, sometimes the flash was a photographic scene. Sometimes it was just some sort of metaphor. But so far, every one of them happened to me. And when it happened, I experienced this weird feeling like it happened before. Only days after the event, I remember that part of the dream. And the trick is I cannot remember the future parts of that dream. Every time the flash happens in real life, I can access that part of my memories, but not before.
See, that's not deja vu. That's a premonition.
But didn't they say that
Precognition. That's
precognition?
only Hans Holzer that.
Yeah, I mean,
I find it interesting that it's right after a mandated shot.
right.
Think they're doing government experiments on children?
Well, of course.
I mean,
I didn't sign it for my child to take.
Oh, no.
I got mine.
Mm-mm.
And I mean,
We don't even do the flu shots.
I don't do flu shots. I will
I
not
took
do.
one like the dad. Said I'd never do it again.
I didn't do the COVID shot.
No, ma'am.
No.
This experience is from Code Red 434, again on Reddit. I had serious deja vu back when I was in elementary school. I had walked into the cafeteria to go and buy a slice of pizza and sit down with my usual group of acquaintances. Very usual routine. I go and sit down and suddenly snapped into that feeling. The feeling like you had been here before. In this exact way. Not just here, but exactly here in exactly this way. I realized just before my friends turned to greet me at the table, and I realized that just as my friends turned to greet me at the table, and I felt like I knew what they were going to say and how they would say it. The thing with this deja vu was that I had the jump on it. I realized I was experiencing deja vu just before it happened. Being a little kid, I had to prove I had superpowers, of course. So I turned to my friend, mimicking the way I remembered him turning to me, and said what I remembered he'd say. And further, how he'd react to me mimicking him. He said something to the effect of, "Hey, what's up? Wow, we said the same thing. Stop it." Which I copied word for word, movement by movement, at the same time he did. I don't know how we looked to everybody else, but in my mind, we were a perfect mirror. And that's where the deja vu stopped. But I felt like some sort of superhero. Unfortunately, nobody cared for my super deja vu.
Yeah, that's a little bit more experience in that.
Yeah.
I have done it. However, I think for me, it's always just like a quick feeling like,
I've been here before.
yeah,
and I think
enough to say words and
and I think I've actually said it out loud. Like, I've done this before, or I've been here before. Or like,
would you be able to kind of repeat back the conversation that you knew was coming? Like,
no, because it is almost like a dream. Like you forget it as soon as you wake up. So what if?
Is it when you're experiencing that? Is it almost like everything's fuzzy?
Yeah,
yeah.
Like I can't focus. Like my ADHD is bad, right? But like deja vu, I focus on that in my head versus what's going because I'm like, it's such a strong feeling that I'm like, I've done this before. And so I can't focus on anything else until it ends.
Yeah.
But what if deja vu is a brief out of body experience in that moment?
Mine don't feel out of body. It's more like a memory. but it just hits in a weird way.
It does. It feels weird. Y'all listening, let us know if you've ever had deja vu and like what happened if you can remember it. Because we would like to hear some stories. Also, those of you listening, if you have any paranormal, supernatural, weird stories that you would like to share, send it to us because we would like to do a listener submission episode. And so we need your stories to do that. Getting back into this last one. This is from Rohine, Rohine, Rohien, Rohine. Many years ago, my parents and I went down to my aunt's shore house for the weekend. That night, I had a dream my friends and I were going to a theme party, and we were all dressed like flappers from the 20s. And for some reason, one of my friends was eating a banana. When we reached the party and opened the door to go inside, Harrison Ford walked out. Cut to the next morning, we go to the beach. My mom sits down in her chair with a big beach bag and pulls out a hat. She had very blonde hair and was always conscious of it bleaching out. She put the hat on, looks down at her shadow in the sand, and exclaims, "Huh, I look like a flapper." I paused but shrugged it off. Then she reaches into her bag, pulls out a banana. Now I'm trying to play it cool while I watch her out the corner of my eye. Then she reaches in and pulls out the latest copy of TV Guide to read. It was my aunt's at the beach house, so there's no way I had seen it before. And who's staring at me from the front cover but Harrison freaking Ford? That was the first time I had ever had a dream that manifested itself like that, but there have been many since.
See, I don't think that's deja vu either.
So what do you think is going... So
that one's different than the other two altogether. Yeah. I don't even...
Yeah, I mean... It's...
Maybe some of the... Like, something like that is like a spirit guide. And I'm planting some stuff. I don't know.
They're like, this is what's going to happen.
Could be. I
don't know. It's just so... It's such a weird phenomenon that... And unfortunately, we will never have an answer for it.
Never say never.
Like, okay, we might have an answer for it, but like we, the collective, will never have an answer for it. But it could be so many different things rolled into this one phenomenon, and it's just weird.
Like you said, and it's a lot of like overlapping things. Like, is deja vu and a dream, kind of on the same thing? Past life regression and Akashic records, are they the same thing? They all kind of go together.
Yeah.
You can rabbit hole this to death.
Oh my goodness. It's so weird. It's just a weird phenomenon that so many people have had happen to them. Mm-hmm. But then it goes into the side wheel that everything's connected. So like, what if deja vu happens to be a past life? Like, it's just, everything's connected. And so is the universe kind of guiding that through to come to, like with the deja vu? Is it kind of like a leading, like you said, leading the soul to
the right path?
Yeah.
Could be. This is getting deep. This is getting real deep. My head, I'm sorry.
All I can think is, do y'all remember that commercial? The mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yeah.
We're not wasting hours. We are actually overworking it.
I honestly,
can you smell it?
I like depleted.
Burning.
I'm smelling the light bright pieces as we speak.
Good thing they ever gave some chocolate before this, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
hey, you think it was my cooking or the chocolate that kind of affected us? The
No,
sugar hit our
Same thing. God, I got some sugar
serotonin.
in me because
Yeah.
I might be like on the floor.
Yeah, no, this has been an interesting episode. A lot of rabbit hole spiraling.
And honestly, we could probably just keep going on this path for
Yeah.
a while tonight if we really.
There's a lot
try.
of forks in this road.
Yeah,
Oh my
we
gosh,
might
yeah, for sure.
we might have to revisit this a little bit later and do like a follow-up. But
So I give you a challenge. So I mean, we'll push this down the road. Like in 6 months, let's have a conversation, right?
Okay.
Any dreams that you have that you remember when you wake up, or any experiences that you think are deja vu, write down. And
okay.
we'll reconvene and see kind of where, if like anything feels like it aligns.
On a side note, what do you think is leading because we're with our podcast, as we said, everything's kind of unintentionally connected.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is leading that to be that way? Do you think it's our guides are communing together and they're like, hey, watch this?
No, they're like, watch this idiot. That's what they're saying.
Watch this girl. She talks with her hands all the time.
I don't know. I don't know if I can guess if I tried.
Mm.
But I mean, if we're kind of going with the train of thought we've been on, we've already done this episode before.
Oh, don't
We've
do
sat at
that.
this table. We sit at this table every Monday, but
She's kind of triggering a deja vu moment, actually. You did just kind of trigger a deja vu. Is it possible to trigger deja vu?
I don't know why not.
can you have a group deja vu?
Do you have a deja vu right now?
I don't know. I'm feeling
I kind of have a deja vu right now.
Deja vu.
Are you having a deja vu?
No. I'm having a tired moment.
She said she's done. Cut.
Girl, it's past my bedtime.
God.
I stay up late on Monday nights to do this.
Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah, I had to
Y'all
get
know I beat the
5 o'clock
chickens
this
to
morning.
bed every chance I get.
Yep. Well, that's. Thank you for opening that can of worms. Thanks for opening that can of worms, and we will revisit that in 6 months.
Well, maybe, yeah, because maybe then we'll do the Akashic Records and tie this all into that.
It'll be all connected. It's all connected.
It'll either be deja vu or we won't remember shit.
Going with the latter, actually.
Me too.
I'll forget to write it down. Not realize it was a deja.
Sticky notes everywhere. In my car, in my work car, on the refrigerator. They're all over my desk at work. They're all over my computer. It's bad.
To remember stuff?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. And if I was to ever walk off and leave my phone,
it'd be game over.
I have got all kinds of alarms set and all kinds of things in my calendar. I don't know that I could function without it.
I used to have to set an alarm to remind me to pick the kids up from the bus stop.
I have an alarm set for everything.
You've heard my garbage can alarm go off here before.
Sure have. Mm-hmm.
Get an alarm for everything. Well,
Sigh.
let us know if you guys have ever had deja vu. And thank you for sticking with us through this ramble. It's been something.
We appreciate y'all.
We
really
do.
do.
We really do.
Appreciate you guys.
But we do hope you have enjoyed the culmination of this topic.
All of this.
All this here we present to you. Yeah. There you have it. Just deja vu. Did you or didn't you? We want to know.
Or will you?
Ooh. Well, until next time, y'all come back now, you hear?